In the world of Marvel, whose family reunion is stacked with the most powerful characters of all? From Asgardian gods to Thanos' skeevy bro, here are the most powerful siblings in the Marvel Universe ranked. Individually, the Guthries might not have the raw power of some of the other families on this list, but they sure as heck have them outnumbered. Sam Guthrie, aka Cannonball, made his debut in the first New Mutants story back in 1982 as a simple teenage coal miner from Cameron County, Kentucky, who discovered he had the mutant power to blast off. Sam's southern working-class roots also brought with them a massive family. All told, he was one of 10 siblings, and over the years, 5 of them have developed mutant powers, with most of them winding up with the X-Men. In addition to Sam's nigh invulnerable blast-in and possible immortality, there's Paige, also known as Husk, who can tear her skin off to reveal a layer of whatever she chooses beneath. Josh, aka Icarus, has angelic wings and a healing factor. Melody, aka Arrow, can fly, no wings necessary. And then there's Jeb, who can shoot electricity out of his face. As for the others, it might be more accurate to say that they don't have mutant powers yet. If the comics have taught us anything, it's that there's always another Guthrie to call up to the big leagues if you need one. The Von Strucker twins, Andrea and Andreas, were pretty much doomed to become supervillains before they were even born. After all, their father, Baron Wolfgang von Strucker, was one of Hitler's best pals, and he spent the past 80 years fighting Captain America and infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. There are only so many ways your life can go from there, and racist Aryan supervillains is definitely the most likely. It's not just nurture that's the problem, though. Here's how they became the Marvel Universe's most uncomfortable characters on every level. While their still unnamed mother was pregnant, Wolfgang got biofanatic Nazi cyborg Arnim Zola to meddle with his unborn kids, turning them into genetically engineered mutants. The twins had the ability to fly and blast energy out of their hands, but only while they were making physical contact with each other, leading to a whole lot of comics where they fought the X-Men while holding hands, and implying a few other things. When it comes to bad dads, Damon and Satana Hellstrom might have the worst, what with the fact that he's Satan and all. Despite their devilish heritage, Satana and Damon, who occasionally goes by the somewhat on-the-nose superhero name Son of Satan, aren't quite as powerful as you might expect. But it's worth noting that even after 40 years of comics, they're still pretty young by demon standards. For the most part, they have the same sort of vague magical powers possessed by most of the mystical characters in the Marvel Universe. But Damon also has the ability to shoot fire out of his pitchfork made of netheranium, a metal mined exclusively in Hell that burns your soul instead of your body. Satana, on the other hand, was raised in Hell, and when she came to Earth, it was as a fully powered succubus with the ability to devour souls. If that wasn't enough, she also spent most of her life with her soul bonded to an extremely powerful demon called Basilisk, which she could release to do other stuff like blow up cars. Together, the siblings are pretty formidable, but far from the most powerful supernatural forces you're likely to encounter in the Marvel Universe. The Summers family has been at the center of the X-Men saga, since there's been an X-Men saga to be at the center of. Scott, better known as Cyclops, appeared in the first issue, and his brother Alex, who took the codename Havoc, showed up not too long after.
This is my brother Scott.
Hey Scott, I'm Hank McCoy, I'm one of the teachers here.
For a long time, the hints that they had a third brother formed the basis of one of the most intriguing mysteries of the series. Eventually, readers found out that their long-lost brother was Gabriel Summers, alias Vulcan, and there was actually a pretty good reason Cyclops and Havoc didn't know about him. See, he'd been born on another planet after his parents were kidnapped by aliens, and their dad became a space pirate with a sexy skunk lady girlfriend. Plus, while Professor X found Gabriel when he came back to Earth, he never bothered to tell his favorite student because he didn't want to. Individually, the three Summers brothers are formidable. Cyclops has optic blasts that are capable of smashing through robots, buildings, and all manner of supervillains. Havoc is capable of disintegrating virtually anything with his powers at their peak intensity, and he once survived being thrown into a sun. As for Gabriel, he was referred to as terrifyingly powerful by Adam Warlock, whose status as a space messiah makes him an expert on overpowered cosmic characters. Altogether, they'd be nearly unstoppable, but alas, their family squabbles usually keep them from teaming up for too long. Usually, mutants who are related to each other have some similarities in their powers. The Summers family, for instance, all have some kind of energy projection. The Braddocks, on the other hand, are all over the map in terms of powers, specifically the map of Great Britain. Betsy is well known as the on-again, off-again X-Man called Psylocke, whose psychic powers manifest themselves in some pretty unique ways. Not only can she do the standard mind-reading and telekinesis, she can also concentrate her abilities into a weapon representing the focused totality of her mutant powers, which can take the form of a psychic knife, a katana, or even a bow and arrow. Despite being Betsy's twin, Brian Braddock isn't a mutant. Instead, he got powers through mystical means when he took the Amulet of Right and became Captain Britain, with all the powers of the British Isles. He can lift 90 tons, fly faster than the speed of sound, keep a stiff upper lip, take tea at 4, and keep calm and carry on. And then there's Jamie. Eldest of the Braddock siblings, Jamie is the family's resident supervillain. And since villains need to provide a pretty intense challenge, he is, in theory at least, way more powerful than his siblings. He sees the world as being held together by strings, and by playing puppet master with them, he can alter reality to suit his whims. Needless to say, this doesn't have a great impact on his mental health. As the team that kicked off Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's reinvention of superhero comics as we know them, the Fantastic Four have always been Marvel's first family. And the key word there has always been family. Because really, if you're Reed Richards, a super genius trying to beat the commies into space, why wouldn't you take your girlfriend, her kid brother, and a buddy from college? That's how the Storm siblings, Susan and Johnny, were exposed to the cosmic rays that turned them into the Invisible Woman and the Human Torch, respectively, forever changing their family dynamic. As the Human Torch, Johnny has the flashiest powers. When he flames on, his body is transformed into a plasma form that, at rest, is burning at about 780 degrees Fahrenheit, which for comparison is about the temperature of molten lava.
Now picture that, but everywhere.
With that only as the starting point, he can eventually get up to 1 million degrees Fahrenheit. But even with Johnny capable of incinerating a small moon, Sue is always referred to as the most powerful member of the team. Her invisible force fields are tough enough to withstand the gravity of a black hole, the most crushingly powerful force in the known universe. Also, they're pretty tough to see. It says something about the Maximoffs that their estranged half-sister Lorna, better known as the superheroine Polaris, is generally considered to be on the same world-beating level of sheer strength as her father, Magneto. And she still isn't Quicksilver's most powerful sibling, not even by a long shot. Don't get it wrong, both Polaris and Quicksilver are incredibly powerful in their own right. Lorna is strong enough to wreck a spaceship with her magnetic powers and has such fine control over her abilities that she can manipulate the iron in someone's body to reverse their blood flow. Pietro, better known as Quicksilver, isn't the fastest runner in the world of superhero comics, but he can still get to Mach 4 on foot and punch you 1,000 times before you can blink. Wanda, on the other hand, is on a whole other level, partly because her magically augmented mutant powers are so vaguely defined that they're basically limitless. For a long time, the Scarlet Witch was shown to have control over probability, but she also remade the entire Marvel Universe and stripped the powers away from millions of mutants just by saying the words, "No more mutants." Of course, take this ranking with a grain of salt, not because these three characters aren't powerful, but because they might not be siblings. As of this video, Lorna is Magneto's child, while Pietro and Wanda aren't. But who knows what the next person who writes Avengers is going to reveal. T'Challa and Shuri of Wakanda, who've both held the identity of Black Panther, are both extremely powerful people for many different reasons, and each sibling has their own unique gifts. Politically, Wakanda is one of the Marvel Universe's most powerful nations, thanks to being one of 2 places on Earth with a supply of vibranium, the supermetal that powers both their economy and the Black Panther's arsenal of high-tech weaponry. On a personal level, both Shuri and T'Challa have gained the superhuman abilities from the semi-mystical, heart-shaped herb, granting them strength, speed, and reflexes far beyond ordinary people. Honestly though, that's the least of their powers. They're both brilliant, but Shuri's facility with technology and inventing puts her on par with the other super scientists of the Marvel Universe. And T'Challa? Well, he's the King of the Dead, a title that he got from the goddess Bast. The full extent of what that means has yet to be revealed, but it did give him the ability to command a couple 100,000 zombies and lead them as a revolutionary army when Doctor Doom took over the multiverse. Thanos has been well established as one of the biggest, baddest villains of the Marvel Universe, on both the big screen and the comics page. He's the guy who kills countless billions without a second thought, and who literally worships death, which he thinks of as a lady he wants to take out for a nice dinner after a long night of galactic genocide. But Thanos isn't even the creepiest member of his family. That honor, such as it is, goes to his brother Eros, the occasional Avenger, also known as Star Fox. Eros has the ability to project what he calls overwhelming waves of pleasure. And yes, that's exactly what it sounds like. For years, the implications were just implications, but in a She-Hulk story, he was sued by women that he'd seduced with his powers. And as it turns out, his pleasure-inducing creep factor is so powerful that he can never turn it off. While they're often on opposite sides, Thor and Loki represent the pinnacle of Asgardian power. Thor's got that overwhelming hammer-swinging strength and the ability to conjure up storms so intense that they threaten to swallow the sun. Meanwhile, Loki has razor-sharp cunning, immortality, and a powerful command of sorcery.
Hey, let's do get help.
What?
Get help.
No.
Come on, you love it.
I hate it.
They're opposed to each other more often than not, but as a duo, they're nearly unstoppable. And they have a sister. Angela's path to the Marvel Universe is a complicated one. She was originally created in Spawn at Image Comics, then became the subject of a lawsuit over ownership that lasted over a decade and ended with her being sold to Marvel back in 2013. To explain her long-lost status, she was revealed to be a resident of the secret 10th realm. She's still Odin's daughter though, and has all the usual powers you'd expect, with the added bonus of being so deadly she's considered Asgard's assassin. She's been shown to be Thor's equal in combat, giving Valhalla's annual family reunion more sheer power than any other family gathering in the multiverse. The most powerful character in the entire Marvel multiverse isn't Thanos, Galactus, or any other cosmic force. In fact, he's not even an adult. Franklin Richards, the young son of the Fantastic Four's Reed Richards and Sue Storm, inherited his parents' considerable cosmic powers, on top of being the single most powerful mutant ever born. What exactly can he do? Well, anything. Franklin's powers are generally portrayed in the telepathy/telekinesis category, with the small bonus of being able to control reality to the point of literally creating universes. In fact, when the Marvel Multiverse was destroyed by Doctor Doom, the way the Fantastic Four fixed it was just having Franklin come up with a bunch of alternate universe ideas, and then use his powers to make them real. Since Franklin's powers are pretty much infinite, any group of siblings in which he's included would, by definition, rank at the top of this list. But his sister, Valeria, isn't exactly a slouch herself. We don't know what they are yet, but she definitely has powers. And what's more? She's a super genius, even by the standards of the Fantastic Four. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite superheroes are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.